There's the real thing.
I'm walking the tightrope. I'm sad and I'm lonely. Oh, but I'm taking the high road, baby.
And then there are imitations.
I'm walking the tightrope. I'm sad and I'm lonely. But I'm taking the high road, baby. Yes.
Loser. At the Beyond FM STL Showcase, we only bring you the originals, starring the 45. Modern Angst. Inner Outlines.
Don't send me a miracle. I don't deserve it if it's all my fault that I'm feeling miserable.
Saturday, April 8th at the Blueberry Hill Duck Room. It's the Beyond FM STL Showcase with the 45, Modern Angst, and Inner Outlines. This is an all-ages show and tickets are just $10. It's the Beyond FM STL Showcase. Saturday, April 8th at the Duck Room. Brought to you by Beyond FM.
Baby. Yes.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another brand new episode. Today's features Jaimie and Amanda from the If You Give a Mama podcast. And we had so much fun recording this one, talking about all kinds of silly stuff. And if you haven't, be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and hit subscribe on If You Give a Mama podcast. Be sure to follow along with them on Facebook and Instagram for new episodes. And hope you enjoy this one. There's a lot of silly stuff, a lot of laughs, and just had a good time hanging out with some friends. So I do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs. With over 25 rotating taps out there, you can get all kinds of delicious beverages. You can come out on get dinner any day of the week, but on Fridays, they've been doing some fish fry Fridays during Lent. So you can come out and get your fish on, and you got all kinds of burgers and nachos, pizza, flatbread pizzas, and pretzels, and all your bar food favorites out there as well. And you can get some great live music happening on Thursdays. They've been doing a Singo Bingo night, and March 9th will be Singo Bingo Best of Hip Hop. And Friday, March 10th, James Birtles. And Saturday, March 11th, Buddy and Q. You can find their full beer menu, concert calendar, and food menu at friendshipbrewingcompany.com. And you can follow along with them on Facebook and Instagram. And if you are in the Hannibal, Missouri area or Flint Hill, Missouri area, great news. Friendship Brewing Company is opening 2 new locations coming to town, coming to you. Keep an eye out for more info coming soon. Be sure to get involved on the website, friendshipbrewingcompany.com, and stop in and tell them Shane sent you. If you need anything else from me, you can always find me at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And I wanted to give you all a little inside news that if you're listening here, you're going to hear it first. I will be bringing back my Dubstock show, which is if you are following along, this was a show I started in September of 2019 as a benefit for my mother. And then we did another one in 21 in her memory to help raise some funding and awareness for glioblastoma brain cancer and help some others in need. And so this will be our third one on May 14th and that is Mother's Day. And it is also May's Brain Cancer Awareness Month. And we will be over at the Old Rock House from 3 to 7 with live music from Russo and Company, Emily Wallace, Ryan Cheney, and comedy from Meredith Hopping. So if you'd like some tickets, reach out to me or metrotix.com. And you can save a couple bucks at the door. If you give them 15 in advance, 20 at the door. And all proceeds, again, go to help raising funding and awareness for brain cancer patients. So your help would be greatly appreciated. I hope I can see you all there, and we'll have a great time celebrating. Bring mom. Come on out and celebrate Mother's Day with us at Old Rock House. May 14th, Sunday, 3 to 7. All right, everybody, that's it from me. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here with me. And sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode with If You Give a Mama Podcast.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hi, this is Amanda.
And this is Jaimie.
From If You Give a Mama Podcast on Rock Paper Podcast.
Yeah, that's good. You did good.
Is that
Yeah.
okay? Good. I'm not farting, but the chair is. Like, I just want that to be known.
It was the perfect little burp.
Yeah.
Like Amanda.
I was like, it's the jeans, guys. It's the jeans. Damn it.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Wentzville. Hanging out today
Get it right.
with Jaimie and Amanda.
Hello. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, of the If You Give a Mama podcast.
Yes.
This is very exciting.
It's thrilling.
I'm glad to be here hanging with you. Jamie's an old friend, returning guest with this, like, what, 4?
Yeah, I think so.
4th time?
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at you guys veterans.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy has things to hold the mics up. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
I don't even have to hold the mic.
This is the greatest thing ever. He's so legit.
Yeah, I was telling you a little bit, you know, like we kind of, you all just started
yeah.
this, so a couple,
Noobs.
yeah, but I was sharing, I mean, like, this took me a long time to get to this. I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
it took me, you know, so obviously, not not knowing what I was doing when I started, 2, not having any money. So it was like, you know, running on bare essentials for equiment and stuff.
hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I know. Well, isn't that what makes the podcast anyways?
Yeah.
No.
No, never us.
But finally, I was able to put a couple bucks into it, and some people helped support that and made it possible. And so it was cool to take it up a little bit on that next level with audio wise and things. But yeah, it was you know, several years in the making of trying to get to this point and stuff. So yeah,
Right.
It doesn't happen overnight. And
No.
Plus, you have like a legit intro. Like us, like in the beginning, like of every one of our podcasts,
still.
we're just like, hey, is the is the mic on? Am I too close? You're too far away. And then Jaimie just mouths at me. She's like, get closer to the mic. You gotta get closer to the mic. Don't eat it. You're eating the mic. Back up. You know, it's just the whole time we're just
not a
battling
dick, Amanda.
ourselves about the equipment. And people are just like, what is
I
happening?
know. We're awkward. It's okay.
I'm just hoping that like people aren't like listening to it while they're like
Not
in their
listening.
cars.
I just hope people aren't listening to it.
You know.
So speaking of the intro, I guess is that like an auto generated thing with the guy that does the
No, we paid a guy on Fiverr.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering if that was like because
Like an AI?
Yeah.
No.
Because it was first time I heard that I laughed pretty hard. Like
Yeah.
one that you have like a disclaimer. Pretty
All of them.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah,
them.
right.
We were like, okay, what are the things
That we
that
should
we
say?
need to warn people about before they even open this podcast?
I still think the intro is too long because I don't know.
I like it. I think people like think it's
But,
hilarious.
but
though. Like,
every
it's-
podcast I listen to, I skip the intro.
Yeah.
well, that's fine.
It just needs to be short and sweet.
It was like $7.99 or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think I
fine. It's
paid
fine,
like
guys.
$10
Like,
for it, but
I like that it's motherhood and murder.
I know. He sounds so legit too.
yes,
You know what I mean? Like he does sound like AI.
and murder. Yeah, I mean, because
We were just all over. We were all over the spectrum.
Right.
Like
you definitely
still-
cover your bases there with the, like here's our two top,
exactly. I mean, those are the main things that we talk about. Just we're totally being inappropriate. We're super.
Yeah,
So we had to warn people. We're like, if you're easily offended, like everyone in the world
Yeah.
is right now.
don't.
We were like,
just-
don't.
Right.
Please
Listen,
don't.
you
Don't
will
send us
be-
angry emails.
Yeah. Like I'm surprised I got past the intro. I'm surprised you weren't offended by the
By the
actual
intro.
intro. Yeah. Yeah.
Because we kind of downplay our anxiety a little bit,
Yeah.
like make a joke of it, which
Yeah.
So some people
Mental
might not be
illness
so
is
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Seasonal depression is hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about it a bit. I've listened to. I'm up to date on current on all those shows, but
Thank you. Thank you for being a fan.
Yeah, you talk about it a little bit, some of your history, but I kind of wanted to go into like how you two meet, and
that's a funny tale.
so I know. So you live nearby, right? You're-
Yeah, we live in the same
Summer
neighborhood.
Street. Yeah.
So is and your kids started hanging out first? Is that at the park or
No.
something? Or
Yeah, it was
So
at the
we were,
playground.
there's like a playground, like if you drive past Jamie's house, there's like a neighborhood playground. And we both stay home. So it was like I think it was like a Friday or something like that, that we went to the playground because it's, nice outside. The one day it's nice outside.
It was like
in
March. Yeah.
Yeah. So we meet we go up to the playground and then Jamie's on her phone and Jaimie is like,
Avoiding eye contact.
yeah, like she tells me now that she's trying to avoid me. But I see her and I'm like, I've got to be friends with this.
Yeah.
She was actually wearing a shirt
I was wearing a shirt.
that made me want to be friends.
We're not going to say what the
We're not going to say what the shirt said
because it's political.
because it's not our podcast. So
But we won't talk about politics on our podcast
yeah.
either.
So
it's just not something we want to
I
talk about.
was like, I have to be friends with this girl. And she was on her phone and she was trying really hard not to make eye contact with me. And I was like, I'm going to make eye contact.
You were on the phone with
you.
Josh.
Yeah.
I got to go.
And so
go
I
be friends with this
literally
girl.
was on the phone with my husband and I was like, hey, there's this girl at this park that's wearing this awesome shirt. And I have to go because I have to go be friends with her. And he's like, all right, let me know what happens.
And generally, I don't even wear that shirt out because I don't like drawing
Yeah.
attention
Yeah.
to myself in any way.
But she was-
politically, but
thank God
I was
you
walking
did,
in the
though.
neighborhood playground. I was like, I'll just wear this. Who cares? And then I was like, shit.
And then
like,
she
I-
covered it up. She had
I
like a
did.
cardigan over it and she was like, oh my, I was like, I like your shirt.
Actually, this is why I'm talking to you.
Yeah, like we're friends.
And we stood there and talked for like at least an hour.
Yes.
And
yes.
I told her some pretty intimate things.
And I was like, hey, man,
Really?
I just have one of those faces where people are like, you look like you want to know some shit about me. You know? And I was like, yeah, so.
I don't need to know.
And
all
then I
those
walked
things.
off and I was exhausted. I was like, oh my God, that was
drained.
deep.
She was an energy vampire.
Yikes, she barely knows me. So
Yeah.
anyways, then we started, I was like, let me get your phone number. Like, that's like how, it's so weird.
give
Like,
me them digits, girl.
I know when you're a parent now, like especially if you're a mom, it's so weird trying to make friends with people
Right.
because we live in such a weird society where it's like you don't know if they're gonna be cool or not.
Yeah. Yes.
And luckily, we were both cool.
So cool. The
So
coolest.
I was like, "Yeah, give me your phone number." And we were like, and then I think I texted you like that evening.
Yeah.
Like I was just
Yes.
like, "Hey, do you want to go with me to this thing?" And
Yeah.
she was like, "I can't. I gotta, you know." But anyways,
But I
it
remember
was-
coming home and telling Mike, I was like, I made a friend today. And he was like, oh, because I have a lot of friends. And he was just like, oh, good for you.
Yeah.
And I don't. So I was like, I came home and I was like, I made a friend in Winsville. My husband was like, fantastic.
Yeah. So,
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
So that was what almost a year ago.
All right.
We're gonna have to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. I think it was like March 6th.
Facebook will tell us. How do you
That's-
know that? What?
My husband makes fun of me because I
like
have
an idiot
such a
savant.
good. Remember, I told you I was like I literally save like screenshots in my brain where it's like I can
Photographic
tell
memory.
you place and time, but I don't know anyone's name.
Right.
Like if somebody
Oh,
says
yeah.
their name
What's
to
his
me,
name?
his name's Shane. We're Facebook friends now, though.
Oh, are you?
But like if somebody tells me their name once, and then I've
Out
got
the ear.
I
Out my
nothing.
brain completely.
Unless you say something super interesting to me, you know what I mean? Then I'll be like, "Oh, Jaimie was the one who shit her pants at Barnes and Noble." You know what I mean?
I didn't.
And that's that was on Mean Girls. That was on Mean Girls. She was like, "Remember?" She was like, "I'm sorry that I told everybody that you pooped your pants at Barnes and." Do you remember?
I don't remember that part.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Are you?
Emmett pooped his pants the other day at Topgolf, so that was fun.
This
Every-
poor
that
kid.
stomach-
Like he's gonna.
That stomach bug's going around.
Hopefully, none of Emmett's first grade friends are listening to this podcast.
It was
so
so
embarrassing.
bad. It was so. This kid.
What do you do when like an older
leave
kid?
You leave with shit in your pants. I mean, pretty much. Okay, so like Mike got sick Friday, and then we went to Topgolf Tuesday because it's half off on Tuesdays, and apparently Emmett doesn't like to wear underwear anymore, and I didn't know
What?
that. Yeah, he likes.
Oh, so
just
he
likes
literally
freeballing.
shit his
And
pants.
he was like picking at his butt. We literally have 1 minute left on our timer, which is like such beautiful timing. And I was like, "What are you picking at your butt for?" And he's like, "Nothing." And he's 7. Okay, he's 7. And I'm like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, there's just shit going down his leg, and I'm like, "What?"
Did you
And he was
smell
like,
it or did you see it?
No, I saw it. And he was like, ah, and I was like, oh my God, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Luckily, Dude Wipes sponsor, it's like a sponsor for Topgolf. So there's a bunch
so there's
of,
a bunch of
there's
so
a bunch
he
of
was just
dude
blowing
wipes. So I was
through
like,
dude
I need
wipes.
some dude wipes because they're, yeah. And so he goes to the bathroom. He makes a goddamn mess. There's shit in his pants. There's no underwear. So it's just everywhere. And I'm like, oh, it's just my nightmare. And he was like, what do I do? I was like, you're going to have to go home with shit in your pants. I don't know what to tell you. And it was a 22-minute drive home.
You should have asked him for a trash bag.
just put it over.
Like, I had to do that when I was in third grade. I peed my pants when I was in third grade. They made me wear a trash bag over my pants. That's my solution for everything.
Just put a trash bag over his
Just put a
legs.
trash bag over it. Because I'm like, oh my
Poke
God,
two
how,
holes
if you get it
through,
on my seats
tie
in my
a knot.
car, I will not be able to smell it all the way. I'll be like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Well, he was like, can I change in the car? I was like, no, you can't. What? I'm not
What are
gonna
you
smell
changing
that,
into?
though. Yes, I was like, you're just gonna sit in the way back in the van, get in the trunk, because I'm not smelling it either.
Oh my God.
And then
what a nightmare.
Alex got sick Wednesday. Chloe and I never got sick. And then
You guys got
just
some good immune systems. Moms
Yeah,
always
Chloe and
have
I-
good immune systems.
It's
Do you
just- we
have
wash
a good
our
immune
hands.
system too, Shane?
I work in an elementary. So I'm pretty, and I always joke that I spray enough disinfectant around the school that I think I'm like immune to everything.
Oh
now,
yeah,
so,
yeah.
what's the craziest shit you've seen in an elementary school setting? Or most disgusting
He's like probably.
thing
He's like
you've ever
probably
seen?
shit. Probably a kid that shit their pants. Probably an Emmett story.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what would be the craziest. Seen about everything though. I mean, whatever you can imagine. Like
Puke.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely it wasn't an elementary level. Elementary, it seems like those accidents happen and they're actual accidents.
Like
Yeah.
you expect
Right.
that
Right.
working in an
There's
elementary
piss on the
school.
floor,
Yeah.
for sure,
Right.
everywhere.
And there's definitely been those things where I've had to clean up like going down the hall like a kid. You could tell shit his pants and was like trying to get to the nurse and there's like
little steps.
yeah, and
God.
like,
God,
and
they trusted a fart.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, they did.
I think the worst though was like it was like a high school, and I guess they must have like covered the toilet sensor and then like the whole like football team or something like all shit in one toilet.
Perfect.
And
High school.
and it was like, a giant like mountain coming out of the toilet and stuff. And it's like, yeah,
I would actually
like,
die.
do you think that that's like a challenge that they do? You're like, what? What's the most shit?
How did that conversation go? These guys, listen.
Well,
I think
Huddle
we should
up.
all
right.
a team building exercise.
Yeah.
We're all
Let's
going to
do some-
shit.
Let's do
in
some
this
science
one
work here. Yeah.
The last one like had to be like standing on the toilet or something,
Oh my
because
God.
like it was,
Out of the top.
right, yeah. It was like,
Oh, God. My first job, I worked at Culver's, and I remember this girl. She was kind of snotty. She quit because the owner was like, someone took a dump in the urinal, and the owner was like, put a glove on and clean this up. And she was like, nah, I'm 16 years
not my
old.
job
I'm
responsibilities.
leaving. You can do that. Goodbye. And left. I'm like, can you blame her?
I'm going to
No.
Wendy's.
That was
Yeah.
They would never do this shit to me.
And then I saw a meme the other day, and it was like, you remember being in first grade and then just like someone just puking out of nowhere?
Yeah. And it's like in slow motion too. They're like, bleh.
That's the one that like bothers me. Like, it doesn't like bother me like to clean it up. I'm desensitized to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just like you would think there would be some kind of signs that something. Hey, something's coming something happening.
Yeah,
It's
warning,
like, right,
alert.
Yeah, maybe get you a trash
Like they
can.
like burp. They're like,
Right. Yeah.
and then you're like, that kid's gonna puke.
Yeah. But like I've seen kids just like unload all over their desk and books and everything, right? And it's just like,
gosh,
like man,
Where's
like,
this come from?
Yeah, like one, like also maybe just turn your head and do it over there, not
Right.
all over your desk, like on all your things.
But to be honest with you, over Christmas break, I threw up on my husband, and I'm 38 years old. So, don't drink martinis on an empty stomach. Is all I have to say. That's
more
the
you
first
know.
time
Right.
I've thrown up from drinking since my 22nd birthday, and I just like poor Mike.
Yeah.
Oh my
I threw
God.
up on him.
Speaking of shit stories, my first job was at it's called Party City now, but it was like Factory Card Outlet is what it was before
okay.
it was Party City. And I was like the balloon girl. Like I did all the balloon bouquets, and this lady was like, you had the keys to the bathrooms at the register. And so this lady comes up, and I have a line of people.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead. Keep going.
So this is why I need those microphones or those headphones. So she was needing the key to the bathroom, and I was like, I'll be there in just a second. So we had one of those huge plants, like a fake artificial plant in the back of the store. In the middle of a Saturday, she literally sits down on the artificial plant and has diarrhea in it.
Oh my god!
In the plant. And I don't know if she thought that maybe like the brown diarrhea would like look more like soil or something like
It's
that.
definitely soiled.
It was definitely soiled. And so I finally go back there, and I could smell, like as soon as you get, that's like a very distinct smell.
All right.
And so I go back there, and I can immediately smell that it's diarrhea. Like a turd smells different
Of course you're gonna
than
know what
diarrhea.
okay.
So I get back there, I go to unlock it. That lady is gone.
right.
But there's just like trail, because like how did she clean up? Did she use the artificial like
Leaves?
plant leaves? Yeah.
Like she's
I mean, it was filled. It was filled. And I was like, listen, like, and there's like people that go around the store that like fill the store. Like she could have asked
All right.
any one of those people that was working on the floor, but she was like, no, I'm going to ask the girl that has 15 people in line and is doing the balloon bouquets to open the bathroom for me. Anyways, and so my manager was like, hey, can you go clean that up? And I was like, absolutely not. I make $5.15 an hour. Like,
Holy
you cannot.
Shit. Can you remember making $5.15
and punching in? Do you would have your time card?
Yeah.
And you would have to punch it in, and it would do the timestamp on it.
Mine was always
kids don't
late.
know.
It'd be like
Roughing it.
10. I need to be there at 10:30. It'd be like 10:37 or 10:32.
I believe it because Jaimie is always late for me.
Just for you
always
and work, and not my work now, but when I was making $5.50 an hour. I'm not showing up on time.
How did we live? Like, these kids are like,
didn't. We lived
they
with
make
our
like
parents.
$21 an hour, and they're like, oh, I can't afford to live. I'm
But
like,
they can't afford to live.
I made $5.15 an hour.
I remember getting
like that was a
raise.
minimum wage.
I remember getting one of my first jobs at Panera, and the starting rate was like $7.50, and I remember being like ecstatic. I was like, "What?
I'm gonna be able to afford jeans with chandeliers on them. It's gonna be great."
I didn't wear. What brand was that?
Oh, Rock Revival. There was Miss Me jeans. Miss Me jeans always had the chandeliers.
What were the really
on 'em.
expensive, like designer jeans?
Those were. Oh my God, what were those called? There was a store at the Galleria Mall that had it started with a U. Urban something. Anyways, doesn't matter. Moving right along.
Okay, sorry.
Anyways, another story about when I worked at the card place is I was blowing up balloons, and you can get, like, for the latex balloons, you can get this stuff that's called high float. And it makes
it last
the
longer.
balloon. And so, like, a regular, I'm just going to throw some balloon knowledge at you.
Okay.
Yeah. So a regular balloon lasts for like 8 hours. Well, sometimes like people pick them up like the night before to take them to a party the next morning. And so with high float, they last 24 hours. And so this lady's like, I need, 50 balloons with high float in them. So I'm cranking them out. You know what I mean? And when you get high float in your hair, it looks very much like There's Something About Mary. So I didn't know. Like, I knew that the balloon had exploded and that it had gone somewhere. I just didn't know it was in my hair. And so then I have like this, like, I'm like 16 at the time. So then I have like some guy that is like checking. He's like buying like a card for his mom's birthday. And he's probably around the same age as me. And I'm like, okay, just check his stuff out. You know what I mean? Let's get through this transaction without being like super nervous. Well, anyways, he proceeds to be like, what's in your hair? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I feel it.
Oh God.
And trying to explain to him that this is just stuff that it just made me look even more suspect.
I swear it's high float.
I was like, it's high float. It's this like liquid that we put inside of these balloons. And he was like, sure it is.
Liquid.
It's a liquid, all right. But is it something you put inside the balloon? And I was, so anyways, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go run into traffic now. So that was the end of my Party City career.
Shane, what was your first shitty job? Or just a shitty job?
I don't have a ton of because most of it's I've actually been at the school since I was my sophomore year.
Wow.
Dang.
I started working. Well, I left for a little bit and I came back. But I've been there I've been full time for 17 years at the school. So
dang. Good for you.
Yeah.
And then, first, before that though, I used to think that bagging groceries at Schnucks was like going to be a pretty decent job. Like I used to like help out like when I was there with mom and like, just whatever, just start, volunteering kind of thing. And I was like, I'll do that. And then, so it was like my first job. And then I was like, about this size, and like their t-shirts or the shirts they used to have us wear like weren't quite long enough.
Yeah, because you're a tall guy too.
And they always want you to like tuck it in.
Yes, I had the same problem as a kid.
And Well, I would,
I had none of this. I'm sorry, guys.
I would tuck it in, but then like, you bend down to get more bags and your shirt comes untucked. And then they're like, every time they like come back around, tuck your shirt in.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me a shirt that fits right. And
Right.
Exactly, and I'll
it's like,
tuck it in.
But yeah, it was that stuff drove me nuts. I didn't last there very long. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like,
Every time they're like, if you get a bigger size, it's just going to be wider.
Right.
It's
I know.
never longer.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't. I
it's
mean, I
frustrating.
say yeah, I know, but I don't. I don't know.
You don't know.
Mine are like-
but your husband's tall.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
does he have to wear like tall?
He does. He has to
Yeah.
wear like long, but he
Because
has to
Mike does
tuck.
too.
He has the same problem like with his job. He's got to tuck all of
Got to tuck
his
it in.
polos in.
Josh has to tuck it in.
And he's like,
for his
let's
job.
show off this sexy dad bod of mine. He's like, whatever. I'm married. I got kids. It doesn't matter. He always
Nothing matters anymore.
I always tell him, I'm like, because like I don't get to leave the house very much, mainly because like I don't want to. I'm like, I pay too much for my mortgage to ever leave. And so
I hate my dog.
you're beast.
I'm going to get him.
You're beast. Brace for impact on this one. So yeah, so I always have trouble. Like, how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay, so my husband's like 6'2".
Yeah.
But he's even to like find pants for him that like actually fit in the length is always a huge issue. Probably because like I only shop at like Old Navy for him because it's
Right.
like he doesn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Get him a pig ear, maybe.
So you worked at Schnucks. Have you ever done fast food?
Nope. No fast food. No.
See, I always think that I always tell people I'm like they should do fast food and they should do retail just so like because I did fast food, I was a waitress, and then I did retail, and it's almost like you grow a greater appreciation for these people.
I did pizza delivery. And I worked in the kitchen also
Yeah.
whenever I wasn't delivering. So it's like I've done, and I did. I was a busser for a little while at a golf course.
So what was it like working with snotty people?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that job was not great. But I do remember one night. I always got that job. Like I think this is kind of where you were going with that too. Like thinking about it, learning some of that stuff. But I felt as the busser, I did a lot of the work. Well, at least there, like I was running food, I was filling drinks, I was cleaning the table, I was doing all this stuff, and I was getting 0 of the tips. Like
Yep.
like
Really?
a fraction.
And they didn't have to split them with you either.
Right. They would tip me out like a couple of bucks at the end. So like,
Sweet.
and I'm like, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing,
Exactly. You couldn't do what you do. Yeah.
And they're anyway, I think I must have voiced my frustration, and my buddy Mike's like, who worked with there, he's like, well, just take care of my tables and I'll take care of you.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
like,
You're like, that's deal.
yeah, I was like,
deal.
and then at night he tipped me out $100,
Oh, wow.
and I'm like, if you're tipping me 100,
How much you make?
yeah, I'm like, he must be doing all right.
He's
there.
making bank. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, I was just like, that job was not great either. So I didn't last there too long. But I do. I agree with you. I think working. I think there should be like a rite of passage to work.
Yeah.
Food service, and we talk about it a lot. Like at the school and stuff. Like we feel like teachers or any people, anybody in working there, like should do at least something. Like a day or two or whatever in everybody's job, just to have an appreciation for what other people do, because
Yeah.
like they just assume that like
Like they tend to take advantage of it.
Right.
Like the people who make the lunches, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? The people that clean up after, it's like, but it's like when you're a busser, because I was a waitress at a place called Garfield's. Did you guys ever know? Okay.
No.
And it was like one of those restaurants that was like inside the mall. And this was like in like the early 2000s, like the peak of malls, Black Fridays, like everyone, like it was packed all the time. So I chose to work there because I had worked in the mall. So when I would get off of that job, I could go and work like the night shift at this restaurant in the mall. And I just remember on Black Friday, we opened at like 9 o'clock because you have all these people that have been shopping since like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then you would have them, they would like start eating lunch at like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And I remember that absolutely no one showed up for work that day. So I had 23 tables to myself because 4 servers didn't show up. And that was my last day there because like I'm all done. And you have to tip out at that time, you had to tip any drinks that the bartender made for you. You had to tip out 10% of your bar tab to them. You had to tip out the hostess. You have to tip out your bussers. It was like all the things. And by the end of the day, I was like, I made $23 and I had like all of these tables, but I was giving them such crappy service because it was just me. You know what I mean?
And I was
crappy
like, service.
Man, I still have PTSD from it. Like right now, like my voice is cracking, just like thinking about that day. It was miserable. But that was the last time that I actually, and it was very much like the movie Waiting. Okay.
That's why I heard Waiting is like a really accurate.
It is an extremely realistic depiction of working in a restaurant. Everyone sleeps with each other. You party with each other. You know what I mean?
It's a very, I've had friends work in the service industry and it's very like a cult almost. Like, you work those weird hours. You off on Monday.
You come to see each other like on your days off. And then it's
they would like they come, they sit at the bar. Someone's a bartender. It's like, oh, they're gonna give me a good deal.
Yeah, because you would go because you would get like 50% off of your meal.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to get, and you make pretty good money. It's hard to get out of it.
And it's like it's one of those things where it's like you always know you could if everything else falls through, I could go back to like waiting tables and know that I could make good money doing that. Yeah. We had Hooters came to Columbia. And it was in like I was scouted at the mall.
You weren't.
I was. Once again, I was in the best shape of my life. Okay. And at the time I was working for a kids store called Limited 2.
And you were wearing the clothes.
And I did because
You still wear kids size clothes.
I do.
It drives me crazy. I can't.
And they were opening up the Hooters restaurant and they were going around and they were like recruiting
looking
people
at boobs
at the mall.
Looking at boobs like,
and so
here, fill this out.
You literally, but no, I don't know how things work now at Hooters, like, and no offense. Okay. But like, you don't have to have much.
No.
Of an IQ to work for Hooters. Like they literally, they are like, okay, I'll bring you in. And me, I was like, okay, if I can make bank working for Hooters, which I didn't end up working there. But I went in and they
probably make really good money.
Were like, you have to wear cutlets. Mm-hmm. You have to wear a push-up bra. They give you
and
the
you have
bras.
to change when you get there. You can't walk in uniform.
So and then you have to wear these
tights.
Very thick tights, the push down socks. You have to buy the shoes.
It's very 80s.
The shorts, the tank tops. You have to wear your hair a certain way. You have to have your makeup a certain way. And I was like, I mean, I don't know that I could like put this much effort into working at Hooters. And once again, I'm so happy for all of these girls that just have this like natural, you know what I mean? Like va-va-voom. But So anyways, but how flattering, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there was some skeezy 25-year-old man that was like, you should work at Hooters. And I at 23 years old was like, thank you so much for this compliment. And looking back now, I was like, gross.
Yeah.
But back then I was like, thank you so much. Still got it.
So Shane, have you ever worked at Hooters? Or?
No.
Have you ever been to the restaurant called Dick's?
No.
And it's where they're rude to you.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And so there was one in Indianapolis. And me and one of my friends went there. And the second you go in, they're like, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And then you're all like, thanks for
play
the abuse. And we're like, 2, please. And they're like, okay, well, why don't you find a seat then? And so then you sit down, and then they make you these funny hats that like basically are like, I look like I have an eating disorder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
They
they
just insult
capitalize.
you.
Like, I
It'd
can
be
only
great.
imagine if they're still in business.
They
now.
are.
You know, are they? Okay. Well,
That's like Ed DeBevick's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Or like, they have a new restaurant called Kieran's.
No. Karen's?
Yes.
That's amazing.
So then you go and like we would order, you know, it's like, okay, I'll take the chicken fingers and fries or whatever.
Yes.
And then they come, they throw your food on the table, and then they will take a fry, dip it in your ketchup, and eat it.
Perfect.
And I'm like, this is the perfect business model
And it's a great place for you to work.
for me. Because
Yes.
I'm like unintentionally rude sometimes, but I'm like, if I can intentionally be mean to people
Please.
as therapy for myself, I'm all on board. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
We
Dang it, I'm saying it.
Amanda says, you know what I mean? Probably 12 times
And I
already
say,
today.
listen. I'm like, listen. I've probably said it 12 times already. So
Yep.
we went to an Ed DeBevick's in Chicago.
So
and then
fun.
A lot of people like were telling us to like go. It was fun, and I'm like, and me and Stacy went when we were up there, and and we were aware of the situation that this is how that works here.
yeah.
So like we
They're
were
basically all actors.
yeah, we were like, prepared for it, but we're like, this is not fun. Like, I don't know if we had like a waitress that wasn't good at it or whatever. She was like, I was like, this is just shitty service.
Oh,
Like,
was it?
Like, this is like,
You're expected to.
right. Yeah. I'm
Shit.
like, she like tried to explain it. Like, this is like what we do here. And I'm like, yeah, I get like this, but
that's
this
why we
is,
came here.
this is still like not fun. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm not
like,
enjoying this.
why am I coming here getting, steak and shake burger or whatever, and having you insult me the whole time, and then I'm supposed to tip you on that, and like it's like I don't know, just so I wasn't. We did not have a good experience, and like, that's
That sucks.
yeah, I'm like, but like I'm all for having a good time. Like,
Right.
if I was like, I was in on the joke, but it just
Right.
like wasn't. She, a particular server
Yeah.
was not.
Like,
She
here's
was
your food,
not-
you ugly
Yeah.
fuck. And
Right.
walks
You're
away.
like, oh my
And it's like,
God.
Jesus, this is not fun. And they
Like,
start,
this is a personal attack.
they started attacking your character. Like, bet you didn't get laid in high school.
You're like,
What?
okay.
Okay.
I mean, you're right. But
Every time we've gone, and I mean, I remember going in the 90s as like a kid.
Yeah.
They had always had like,
did they have one here?
no, it was in
okay,
Chicago.
it was Chicago.
But they had like crazy outfits and like fun hair, and like they were just, it was cutesy, and everyone was it was like, yeah, you were in on the joke. Like, it was just fun. But I was also like 10. But it might be different now.
Everything's fun when you're
Everyone who works there just hates their life now. It's not even
Right.
entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
when was that?
I mean, maybe 10 years ago or something.
Okay.
now, but
Was it the new location or the old one? Probably the old.
I don't know.
Maybe the old
Yeah.
one. I know they moved. They moved buildings. They were closed for a while.
God, you
Yeah.
are. You
I know a lot about Ed
You
DeBevick.
have gone a lot. Jeez.
I knew a lot about it. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask, when we were talking about doing a podcast, like how quick does that conversation come up between the two of you? Like that this is something we should do. Like,
It took a while. We talked about it like last summer.
Yeah, I had always wanted to start one. Like, I came and we sat and talked. I think that was before I even met Amanda.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do a podcast. I need advice. And then I just couldn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger because it was not fun to just sit and talk by myself. And then
Right.
I was like, I don't really want to I didn't have like with you, it's like you have like you can talk to like people in the music industry or bands and things like that. I was like, I didn't really know where I was going to go with it. And so I just stopped.
right.
And then Amanda and I, like, we would just stand at the playground and talk and just laugh.
Laugh and tell
hard.
stories. And then
Yes. And we would just back and forth. I'm like, this could be entertaining.
Is this
like,
the podcast right here?
yeah, exactly. And I was like, of course, everyone always thinks like, oh, well, we should have our own reality show because everyone thinks we're so funny. And it's like,
but they're not. Yeah,
really,
I know.
I mean, it's just funny with your friends. And maybe that's the case with us. We're just delusional.
Yeah.
But we do,
That's not the case. We are hilarious.
we're fucking hilarious.
68 people on our podcast think so.
So yeah, I was like, we should do a podcast, and it did. That was in the summer, so it took a while. And I
We
was like,
thought about doing it over Christmas. We were like, okay, but then the kids are out of school, and it just felt like just things kept coming up.
and I was like, January's dead. Let's start in January.
Yeah, and then
So
we
we
did,
did.
and then like you were talking about earlier, like we didn't have like the right equipment, so it doesn't sound right, and we're
Yeah.
somewhat perfectionists. So we wanted to make sure that like if we did release something, that it didn't sound like
shit.
complete amateurs. Yeah,
Yeah.
like putting stuff out, but
Right.
it's therapy for us, and we said when it stops being fun, we'll
just
stop
stop
doing it. But all a podcast really is two people talking like about their lives. And like I feel like we have enough interesting stories and
We're not to like be like
sarcastic banter to be able to
we have enough. It's relatable things.
yeah. And I've had moms that are just like some of my like mom friends that are like we're talking about our kids or something like that, and they'll just be like, same.
Yeah.
Same struggles.
Your friend Megan was
everything.
like, listening to you guys, it was like sitting and talking
Yeah.
with my two friends, and I was talking back to you guys, and of course you can't hear me. But I was like, that's any podcast where you're talking
want to
back.
relate.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot with my favorite podcasts.
But I hate hearing my voice because like
Well, you don't have to. I do the editing.
yeah.
So,
So
I
last night-
hate hearing your voice after a while. I'm like, Amanda, I can't listen to us anymore.
Last night I was listening to it and I was like, because on our last podcast I had this cold.
Fucking cough drop in her
Oh
mouth.
my gosh. And I was like, I sound like a man. And I'm like, Amanda, literally. And it's so funny because other people are like, oh no, I don't think so. Like some people are like, I think you have one of those. My friend goes, you have like one of those SMR voices. And I was like,
Very soothing.
for real?
Mine's obnoxious.
Mine is too. But hey, someone may think that it sounds like an SMR.
No. But
You know what I mean? But anyways, so then we just started from there and that's it. So, I mean, if it stops being fun, then we'll stop doing it. But
But
right
it's been
now,
interesting, like seeing who
We learned a lot.
who supports you and who doesn't. Like, have you had that? Like when you first started out, were you kind of surprised at how quiet some of your friends and family were?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, and I get like what I do is not for everybody. I'm
Right. Yeah.
well aware of that. I would say before I go there, I wanted to say about being relatable and like with your other mom friends.
yeah.
I felt that even I don't even have kids, but I enjoy listening like because like I do, but I'm around, especially with the school and stuff like
Right,
yeah.
so there's a lot of these same stories, like these things I think too, like but I can't always verbalize some
Yeah.
some of my so it's just funny like to hearing you two go back and forth talking about some of these stories and stuff, and so it's even for non-parents I think it would still very enjoyable.
Oh, good. That's
good
'cause
to hear,
It is because I feel like I don't want to just
Have one target audience.
moms.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend say, she's like an older, her kids are like my age. She was like, I feel like you say things about your kids that all moms want to say, but they don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
People say that
I'm
too.
not afraid to say it. I'll
Sure.
say it.
I do. I've always been that one person that like everyone was thinking it, but Amanda says
Yeah.
it. And then I just deal with the repercussions of saying it. Because they're like, we'll let her do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I'm just
We'll let
like,
Amanda
I'm like,
speak
your
up."
kids are assholes. Ah. You know what I mean? And then
you know what I mean?
You know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
Everyone knows
Damn
what
it.
I mean. I know.
Listen.
Let it be organic. Okay? Let it be
I'm sorry.
organic.
But yeah, there's definitely those like struggles starting out, like trying to get attention, trying
With
to get
anything.
Yeah.
Even like small business.
Yeah.
And,
It's discouraging, but it's like you got to like just push through.
yeah. I don't know that she listened a whole lot, but my mom was like super supportive
Yeah.
of it. She, always wearing like my shirts and
That's cute.
stuff. Went to a lot of all my events that I've hosted and stuff. So like to have something like that, like, really meant a lot to me, obviously. But then you like really notice, like my dad, like, I don't think ever listened to anything, has ever been to any of my events or anything. So that's where it's like, it's like when you see complete opposites, like, somebody that supporting in somebody that's doesn't care about it at all. Like, it's just like it is frustrating sometimes. You're like, well, why don't, like even just simple, hey, you're doing a great job. Or,
Oh, hey, you're doing a podcast.
Acknowledge it in any way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I don't need you to listen. I don't need you to share everyone. I don't,
Right.
I don't need all that, but anything, would be appreciated. It's like, so I don't know, those things like that. Yeah, they do kind of eat at you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just like, or if you see them like talking about other podcasts, and it's like, well, obviously I know you
Listen to them.
Yeah, it's like,
So,
Yeah.
what's up?
all right.
Amanda starts.
That's
with
like, I
fights.
know. Like we were.
What's up? Why are
We
you listening
have-
to my podcast?
Let's square up now. So that's what we were talking about. Is like the people that we thought
Would be our
would
biggest.
be our
supporters.
biggest fans are like they
Dead
are silent.
Yes.
Like they
weird.
and these are people that like knew that we were gonna do this. We talked about doing this. They were like, send me the link, and you send them the link, and then like
Crickets.
nothing. Like they don't even. And
Left-
I'm just
left
like,
on red.
what?
Yeah.
But then it's like random strangers on the internet that are just like,
Yes.
you go, girl.
Yeah, or
I've
like
always
friends
wanted to
from
do a
grade school.
podcast. Or,
Yes, and it's like, okay, thank
if you need a
you.
special guest, like I have had like these people that I've been friends with, but like you haven't
More
seen each other
acquaintances anymore.
Yeah, like you're just like Facebook friends, but have been like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, or they'll say things like, I didn't know you were a podcaster, and I'm like,
I
that
didn't
sounds
either.
so cool. But no, not let's I
not push it.
appreciate it,
All right.
but that's the kind of energy that I want.
I'm
you
just
know
a
what I
talker
mean?
right now.
So I know.
There.
I was it's cool to hear that because like people listen. I see, obviously you see the numbers like, but
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of engagement.
Yeah.
So and maybe like early on we did. I don't know. Like every now and then I get in person. I'll get people like, hey man, it was a good episode or whatever. And every now and then, or text every now and then and stuff. There are things, but as far as like reaching finding a community kind of thing is where like I've even doing it this long. It's still like feel like I put them all out there like to the ether, like, hey, look, here it is, and hope that it finds somebody. And people, like I said, people are listening. It's just to be nice to continue a conversation with a fan base
Right.
like that and stuff.
Because
So,
when they comment and like and stuff like that, because like she's not. Do you do TikTok at all?
yeah.
Okay, so like I share like our little clips on TikTok, and it's always so weird because when you do share things on TikToks, the magical thing is you have to hashtag stuff.
Right.
So I'll go through
Yes.
and you can look like what is the most used hashtag today. You know what I mean? And you'll put that hashtag, or you put because there's a For You page, and it's like things that are just for you. Yeah, that your phone is listened to. And so they call it
China made for you.
They call it, yeah.
China made a
they call
list.
it an FYP. And so I'll go through and I'll hashtag all of the videos pretty much similar. And it's weird because some of the videos will do significantly better
Right.
than the other videos. And it's just based solely on whatever hashtag you use will get to that person's For You page so they can view it.
Yeah.
So it's like on our clip last night, I posted it was up there for 10 hours. We had like 486 people view it. But then I have clips before that we've had that'll have like 119 views.
Right. It's weird.
So
how
I'm
some
like
things hit
trying to
and some
figure
don't.
out what the algorithm is to like get this exposure.
Yeah.
But and I even know like when I'm like mindlessly scrolling through TikTok that people will put like the clips of their podcast on there, and people are saying that that's how their podcasts have blown up.
Yeah.
Was strictly
Random
by
clips.
sharing it
Right.
on TikTok, because that's what people are mindlessly doing now. That's I think like Facebook and Instagram are kind of. Didn't Chloe say that Facebook or Instagram was for old people?
Yeah, my sister says Facebook is for old people.
And so TikTok is like the Instagram or the Facebook for this
Right.
generation or whatever. And then it's for like people like I'll be on the
people like
treadmill
you.
and I'm like 45 minutes will go by and I'm like, all right, I've caught up on every single TikTok known to man, But there's always like information that like we won't hear in day-to-day life that you will see on TikTok. Like that people
and Instagram Reels. I mean,
Yeah.
that's there too.
I like somebody said that talking about that like TikTok, and he's like, no, I get my TikToks on Instagram a week
Like an
later,
adult.
like an adult.
Yeah.
Like,
through the U.S.
Yep.
Postal Service
right.
of the internet. My husband will he doesn't have TikTok, and so he'll send me these TikTok reels that people post on like Facebook or Instagram
or YouTube. I get
and
YouTube shorts from
he hates it because I'll be like, I already saw that one, and he feels like I'm cheating on him because he's
I already
like,
saw it. Yes.
what the hell,
Yeah.
like. And I'm
Yeah.
like, literally, it was posted 6 days ago.
I know.
You
It's
know?
like when you and I go back and forth with memes. It's like probably we both have already seen it, but we're.
I'm
sending
still
them
gonna
anyways.
laugh at it,
Yeah.
though. And I'm still gonna pretend like I haven't seen it because my sister, I'll send her TikToks, and then she won't like view them or laugh at them, and then she'll send me the exact same one, and I will.
bitch.
I'm literally like, you dumb whore!
offended.
I already sent you this one.
Dumb whore.
I'm like, and then I'm like, yeah, I did. Like the other day, I had like sent her one about the Kansas City Chiefs. Like she's a huge Chiefs fan. And the one thing that I think a lot of people can't stand about the Chiefs is
Patrick
Mahomes'
Mahomes'
brothers.
wife and his brother
And his wife, yes.
yes.
And he's
I can't
always
stand
doing
her.
TikToks. He's, I'll be the rubber band. It's just like it's so cringy. So I had sent her a TikTok about
How
him
much
or
everyone
whatever.
hates him.
And then
Perfect.
and then the reason she saw that TikTok was because of me. So then she sends it to me, and I was like, you dumb whore. I already sent you that one. And then she'll be like, oh, I've already seen that one. And I'm like, well, see it again
And eat it.
and eat it.
all right. What were some of the podcasts that you started listening to that maybe you're like, hey, this is something I can do, or something? What do you feel like? Was there a certain one or that inspired you to want to do it?
Like
Like the-
Babe for me, but I love
Mine were
I love them.
so I wasn't really into watching podcasts. Like I said, I really just saw like over like TikTok or Facebook, like when people, but like Joe Rogan, like I love Joe Rogan.
I know, it's just funny because it's like the most basic
I know.
podcast. Like Joe Rogan inspired
I know.
me to
Who's
be a
that?
podcast.
There's another one
Tim
that I
Dillon.
follow.
Tim Dillon's pretty good. But again, it's like the most popular podcast.
But it's like two girls that are probably like, what is it, Gen Z? That's the younger one. Whatever's younger than us, Gen whatever. And they literally, they talk shit literally the whole time. And then it's like their whole episode is basically about them, what we do, being petty. Like it's just, and it's so entertaining because I'm like, oh my God, this is stuff me and Jaimie do. You know what I mean? And it's just like a relatable thing. I do like the Joe Rogan one only because like
always
he's
learn
very
something.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I want to
just
try
learn
his
something.
Alpha Brain stuff. Have you guys heard about the Alpha Brain? We need to try that. It's like a vitamin that he has
Of
that's
course
supposed
it
to help
is.
you with your
Oh,
focus.
Amanda.
Not to be totally cliche.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, it was like I was going to the comedy shows a lot, Funny Bone and then
Oh yeah.
and that's where a lot of these obviously I think that's some of the early adopters of podcasting were comedians, and so I met Jay Larson down there, and he was enjoyed his comedy, and he was like, hey, check out my podcast. And I was like, so I started listening to his show called The Crab Feast, and that was like where that was my launch into the world of podcasting. It was one of those things like, you always saw it like on your iPod or whatever, but you're like,
The iPod, the old technology.
Right. Like, I don't know what podcast is, but finally, finally started giving me a starting point, and I was like, I really enjoyed what they were doing. Talking, two comedians talking to a third comedian typically is how that show formatted. But I was always like, these guys always sound like they're having the best time, and so.
And all they're doing is like holding a conversation with each other, which is like the fascinating part is like, that's really all that it is. I've had friends that are just like, I would love to do this, or if you need a special guest or
Right.
something like that.
Is that something you want to do? Is that you
Like
guys-
I think it would be
Yes,
fun just to
absolutely, yeah.
have.
Just because I get tired of just us talking.
Yeah, just to have somebody else, like just even if it's just like, and really, I think all of it is just storytelling.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hell
Like,
yeah.
and I told Jaimie, I'm like, I feel like I've had like enough like crazy things that have happened in my life that like people will be like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
she didn't poop for 16 days. Or you know what I mean? Like there's all these things that have happened to me. And I think people are just like, I can't believe she's telling this story. But for me, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I don't. I've gotten to, it's almost like I'm 39 and on my 38th birthday, I woke up and I was like, you're not going to give a shit what anyone thinks anymore.
Most people don't do
And
that until
so-
like 60.
And so I started not attending things for people I don't like. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to invite me only because like my husband or something like that, like I'm not going because I'm no
showing up.
longer going to be doing things I don't want to do or being around people I don't want to be around. And I don't invite
And
them
then
to
she-
my things either.
She
So
abandoned her family. She was like, I'm not going to be around these kids no more.
yeah, I was like, peace. I'm taking you to the fire station.
It was so. I mean, I told you I've been listening, and there was one of those. There's you said something like that. Like I think it was, you said something about the lottery, and then Jamie's like said, "What is this first thing you're going to do?" And you're like, "I'm going to leave my family," and then you're, and then how hard you two laughed, like made me crack up. Like it's just like. There's a lot of truth in that. Like, you know, there's a, you know.
But then we were like, just kidding. I would never do that. Mommy loves you. But
Right.
seriously.
Maybe until
Y'all
you
are
were like
nightmare.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But Anna, just like there's little things like that make me really like laugh hard during the show. Like they're not necessarily I wouldn't say they're like funny things that you say, but the way they're on there, like they really make me like when in the last episode you were saying talking about working the mall and stuff, and you said, and Jaimie goes, "Oh, I got a good buckle story," and I was like, just like
Every time she says that, then I will tell the story and she'll be like,
Mine's not as
really?
good.
but it's
Really?
like I never thought anybody would say I've got a good
buckle
buckle.
story.
Yeah, right. It's like,
Never in the history of ever has anybody been like, "Just let me tell you about this. Podcast.
I just feel like shopping at the Buckle was a part of growing up in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't cheap to shop at Buckle. It was
Not at
very
all.
expensive. I mean, for a teenager.
It was like a status.
yeah.
You know what I
and
mean?
I just feel like, it was I don't know.
all right.
I remember exactly where it was at Mid Rivers too.
Yeah.
Is it still there? Might
It
be.
is.
Probably.
It is.
Is it really?
It's like one of the only stores it's like that, Victoria's Secret, Dick's, and like probably a calendar store. You know what I mean? Like there's
Different dicks.
yeah,
than
yeah,
before.
different, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in it. I mean, like, I know you're trying to, you know, it was more comedic take. I think I feel like there's, but there's a lot of stuff that I think there's a lot of truth in there. Like it's just an honest conversation, which
Yeah.
is fun. Like, you know, it's like, which is, you know, it's, even if I don't always agree with people's opinions, it's nice to hear people that have opinions on
Yeah.
things, and you know,
Sometimes.
But
you know, opinions are like assholes.
yeah,
I know. Everybody's got one.
and they all stink.
you know, so it's just you know nice to hear. Like I said, it's kind of fun to hear you two being friends, and like I'm as a person on the out, like there's speaking of memes earlier too, the meme like where it's like what it's like listening to a podcast. It's like an ice cream ad, and like they're you know, they're all like laughing, having a good time eating ice cream, and that guy's like sitting next to him like eating ice cream, and it's just like, and you know, it's like want to be included, but you're like sitting there like not really in it, but I don't know. So I feel like that was very honest meme, because like that's what it's like. I mean, it's like I'm sitting here laughing and I'm having a good time with you, but you don't even know we're there, or you know, and everything else. And so
Well, and that's kind of one of the problems, because actually the last episode we recorded, we started touching on things that after the fact we're like, we probably shouldn't talk about.
We
this.
clipped a lot out. And
No, I haven't even edited it yet, but we talked about like just very personal things.
Yeah.
And Amanda texted me. She's like, we got to take all that out.
You
And
know,
it was
because you get to a point where like you are having a conversation,
and you forget that other people are going to be listening to
that
this.
68 other people are going to hear this.
Amanda is really
I'm about
so
that.
excited about 68.
I know. I mean,
68 listeners. But you think like, oh, that's not a lot. But if you had 68 people in a room with you listening to your conversation, you would probably
it's a lot of
talk
it would be a
differently.
lot of people.
So you get to that point where it's like, yeah, we're best friends and we can tell each other anything, but we are recording ourselves and then putting it out there for literally your mother-in-law to listen to, or my grandmother. I don't think she will figure it out,
because of my mother-in-law.
or like just my brother-in-law, or like whoever, my in-laws in general. And it's like,
I don't know if I want them to hear
talk about that.
Yeah.
So that is
So you do have a line.
Yeah, we do. We do. And we try not to talk about like anything
political.
And
it's
like
funny
you just
'cause-
want to keep like a even playing field.
Right. And
like
I was
that.
talking to my girlfriends about the shoot. Like my one girlfriend was like, hey, listen to your podcast. I was a little worried because I thought it was I know how you and Amanda met, and I thought it was going to be like political. I was like, no, we're not. We're just not going to do that.
I think that's where you shoot yourself in the foot.
And she was like,
though.
oh, thank God. And I was like, yeah.
Because you and I have so many friends that like have
opposing
opposite political views of me, but they're still going to be my friends. Like I'm
friends,
never not going to like them because of their choices. I mean, I've made a lot of choices that I'm sure people would not like me for. So I just don't want to be a hypocrite like that. But that's why we were like, yeah, we're gonna have to leave that out of it, because you limit yourself to the audience that is gonna listen to you.
I don't want
and
to listen
that's
to your opinions about
exactly. And we don't like listening to people who try to push that on you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn
you
it
know
off.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Right.
So it's
we do have a line in the sand. Yes. Long
You
story
do
short, we do.
Yeah.
also Asian Americans, please.
Stop the Asian hate.
It's from The Big Lebowski. Have you seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's
All right.
one
I'm
of my
just quoting
favorites.
movies.
Yeah.
You've never seen? Have you not seen it?
I have seen the Big
okay.
Lebowski.
Because that's where it's like, you draw a line in the sand. You do not.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. John Goodman.
Yeah. I was listening to a Stern show, and they were talking about like some, I think I guess it was George Takei and somebody passed. I forget. I didn't catch the whole story, but they were talking about like spreading ashes. And that's the only thing I'm like laughing, thinking of Big Lebowski, is they're like spreading down his ashes. And
Yes.
I was like, because that's all I can think. Let's see, my mind goes right to movie scenes and stuff. And
That's us too. It's like we don't even know, like when we do the who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me. We do that all the
Look at
time.
us.
And I think that people like I think that is something that people do. Like I know that me and my husband will literally like just an entire conversation will just be like quoting lines from a movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you just like keep it going. And then we will always be like, I wonder if there's somebody out there right now that's like doing this exact same thing. You know what I mean? That's like
Yes.
quoting.
I've met so many people, and it's usually, that's how I know I'm going to be friends with you. If I can quote an obscure movie like
and
Forrest
you
Gump,
get it.
and they're like, Forrest Gump, I'm like, did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Because it'll be obscure, like
Yes.
real obscure.
Yes.
Like if anyone knows this line, where's that bald girl? Do either one of you know that?
Okay. Is that from
Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Where's that bald girl?
oh God, I can't remember the name of the movie.
The Very
but it was-
Brady sequel.
Oh no. Okay, I wasn't thinking of that.
Very Brady sequel.
Okay,
The
that's
sequel.
embarrassing that you're
Yes.
quoting that. movie.
Yes, but it's just one of those things where it's like,
I thought it was Drop Dead Gorgeous.
oh, that's a good one.
That
too.
is a good one.
God,
Yeah.
that's one of the best movies.
Oh, I love it. I love
Underrated.
it.
Kirstie Alley.
Anyways, we
RIP.
got to hone it back in. This is what you got to do with this. That's why the
That's why
podcast
it's about-
is named "If You Give a Mom a Podcast."
Yeah, because we are just
Everywhere.
all over the place like that goddamn mouse in that
Oh
book.
my God. Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn.
Yes, your dog keeps farting.
The dog does keep farting. It's not me or Amanda or you, Shane. I mean, it could be, but
man.
We could blame it on.
Yeah, it was
either
the,
way.
It was the
He's
dog.
here.
Yeah.
Let's blame him.
He eats socks and then it gets stuck and then he just farts all day until it comes out. You're a disgusting animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love you though, Harrison Ford.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can find If You Give a Mom podcast on all your favorite podcasting apps. And we have an official Facebook and Instagram page.
Yes. Trying to be legit.
Yeah. So get plugged in. Is the TikTok stuff that's only on, is that your personal?
It's on my. It's just on mine.
Yeah.
Need to make
I know.
one.
I need
God,
to.
Amanda.
And listen, I'm not that savvy, but I did find out that you can do like with your Facebook, it'll let you switch
Yes.
over to
Well,
that.
yes.
So
And Instagram
I
does
did
it,
discover that yesterday when I was putting it. So I will make a TikTok page.
Yeah.
That's
Today.
if you
She's gonna
give,
do
I
it
will do it
today.
today. Please listen. It's very
Please
very
watch
funny.
us.
We're so glad that Shane had us on his well-established podcast.
And then he listens to us.
I know.
Thank
It
you
is.
to
It's
our
so
5
flattering.
listeners. It is flattering. It's nice.
It's 68.
It's
It's 68.
It's those 5 people listened, 10 times.
Amanda's
yeah.
husband and like 2 of my friends.
And random strangers on the internet. So thank you, random strangers on the internet. We love you.
Is there so obviously we're still very early on, but I feel you've kind of found hit your stride, like a kind of what the direction we're going with the show and everything. But is there a long-term goal at all for this? Or is there besides
to be millionaires.
Yeah, right.
No.
or are we just gonna
No.
Right now, it's just for fun.
And we're just hoping that maybe our friends and family will listen to it.
Yeah.
That's the first goal.
Right.
Small steps. Like I know with my photography business, it took so long. Once you get your stride, and it's like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Once that starts going, but it just takes a while.
Sure.
Like everything.
I mean, the goal is like to
For everyone to love us.
I think,
Yeah.
I think for it to like go viral or so, I think that's like
That'd be
everyone's
wonderful. That's everyone going
that
into
they,
it. But
yeah,
like
whether
right
you want to
now-
admit it or not, like, I mean,
Right, but I don't see that. I just don't see that happening. Maybe that's I need to stop having.
You're
this
supposed
mindset
to-
because
you're-
it's
you're
really
supposed
bad
to, like-
energy.
yeah,
We need to get one of those boards. What are they called?
a Ouija board.
A vision.
A vision board. Yeah,
A vision
not
board.
not a Ouija board.
That's a different
Sorry,
vision.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, we could ask the spirits, but
We need all the help we can get right here.
spirit world.
Your listeners are
will
like,
we go viral?
why did he have them? Like,
Yeah.
they're so all over.
Speaking of the spirit world, Shane, do you have any good ghost stories?
No, I don't think so. I'm a fan
Of ghost stories?
Yeah, I enjoy it, but I've never had any true personal experiences. Yeah,
See, I feel like that's going to be something. If we ever have guests, I always want to be like, "Do you have a ghost story? Something creepy that happened to you?"
I got a buddy, Jeremy. He's I had him on the show to kind of share some of his stuff. He
He was possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. Close though.
Yeah.
He
It's very poltergeist of him.
yeah, he was he used to work for this paranormal task force.
Oh, really?
And they
Like a
did,
local one?
Yeah, they did ghost hunter
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
And they got to investigate at the exorcism house.
Really?
And
Which is in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
where's that at? I don't
In
know
St. Louis. It's in Missouri.
No, I
it's a
know, but
city of
where's
Missouri.
where is that?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what
Is it? It's in.
It's in, yes.
but like,
The real one that the story is,
Oh,
The
okay.
Exorcist is based off
That
of.
it's
And it
based
actually
on.
was a boy
oh,
that was
okay.
possessed. Yeah.
So there's he was telling me that there's a couple family that lives there, but they've never had
Anything happen.
anything. But
I don't think I would. I don't
and
think
then
I
they-
would. Like,
yeah,
I don't touch with that.
and
but
they
anyways.
they went in there and he I don't know that they what all of the details, but he was saying they have all those thermal cameras and all these
Yeah.
things, and he said he could feel there was this a hot spot kind of thing on his neck and stuff, and it was all on the film and all these things. So he's there's a lot of weird stuff like that still happening in that house, and I don't know.
Really?
So yeah, it was for me. It was interesting to hear these things. I don't know how much. I want to believe. I feel like they're all entertaining. And stuff. But it's like for me, never having a firsthand personal experience. Like
it's hard to believe that that exists.
I want to believe because I want to believe that we don't die when we die.
In reincarnation? Does this do you believe in reincarnation? Being reincarnated by
I mean, I've heard some stories that are really crazy, like of kids being like, "Oh,
like
yeah,
a 9/11.
that's where I died."
Did you hear the 9/11? Yeah, where he
I
could
was a firefighter.
Yes, and he could tell his mom. He was like
things,
4.
Things that he should have absolutely no knowledge on. That's where it's really hard. Not
things like
to
that
believe
is like
stuff.
Yeah,
but then you have to think like, are you just trying to get famous like for 15 minutes? That's of course you're gonna have that little bit of like doubt.
Yeah.
And people are full of shit.
It was fun to hear a kind of a comedic take on it. I was listening to watching the new Mark Maron special on HBO.
What is that? Who is that?
He's one of the biggest podcasters also and comedian.
Don't make us feel stupid, Shane.
We are professional podcasters
he does
too.
He does that WTF pod.
Okay.
So, but he's
a cool podcast.
He's a big comedian, and he has. I don't know. I don't listen to his show a whole lot. Every now and then I'll tune in for certain guests, but he does it like in his garage, which I think is fun. Like it's all at his house, and he has like these, random celebrities come by his house, and it's like his neighbors always like,
Is he an older guy?
Yeah, he's like late 50s now.
Okay, I think I have seen this, and he has brown hair, and he's married, and his wife is always like.
Well,
is he married?
No. Well, he has. I mean,
he's got brown hair.
Right.
You nailed that part.
But yeah, he was telling like a story the other day about I heard him on another podcast, and he was saying that when he had Barack Obama on, and they had to clear the neighborhood, all the cars on the street and stuff. And
wow,
Barack Obama did a podcast.
Yeah. What else is he doing?
That's me.
That guy.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I know who that guy is.
Not the guy I was thinking of, though.
Well, anyway, on his special, he just put out a new special this week, and he was watching that.
Oh, yeah, because his girlfriend died, didn't she? From around COVID. Yeah. Okay, yes, I do know. Yes.
So he's sharing that story, and in one, he's made the first joke that got me he goes, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Also probably for her.
Yes. Oh God, yes. Because I was like, this is probably gonna be good. This is my kind of dark sense of.
But they're going into the reincarnation, whereas he was saying that whole at that period of grief, you're just wanting to latch on to anything, and he's and people say stuff like that, and then he's like, oh, maybe that's true, So then then you're out there looking, and he's I'm at the park, and there's a hummingbird flying. I was like, is that you? Is that
oh yeah, there's a cardinal. Is that my dad?
Right. And then he's the next day, then it's there's 5 hummingbirds. He's what is this? What is this is all your friends or so I don't know.
Do though. You want to believe that there's they're giving you a sign or that they come to you in your dreams and stuff that. So
after my grandfather died, it was probably 2 weeks after he died. I walked into it wasn't at this house, it was the old house. I remember I walked through my bedroom doorway and I saw him standing out of my peripheral in the middle of my bedroom. And it's actually startled me. I went like that because it scared me so much. And then he was gone. And I was like, oh, okay.
But it does, they do say that they do come back to you in some shape or form to let you know that they're okay.
Well, and
to give you peace or something.
Well, when Chloe because I was pregnant with Chloe when he died. I was 6 months pregnant. And then when she was about 3, she was 2 or 3, she was hardly talking. But she was talking enough, Yeah. And I remember we were driving home one night and she was in the back seat and she said, Grandpa's back here. And she had Mike's grandpa, Mike's great grandpa, or her great grandpa. That was the only grandpa in her life. Let me say grandpa one more time. Grandpa. And so she wasn't talking about him because we didn't see him that much.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, grandpa's back here. And I was like, what? Who? And she was like, yeah, speaking of which, grandma's calling me right now. And I said, what do you mean? She was like, he's back here making faces at me. And I was like, what does he look like? And she goes, he has white hair and he's kind of tan. And she said something else. Like she described my grandfather.
Yeah. And you were like,
and she was like, he's making faces. I immediately started crying because that's what he
That's his
would.
thing, he would make
And it
faces.
was just so bizarre and out of nowhere. And
she could even describe this. Like
yes.
this,
And I
without
was
knowing.
like, because he was tan, because he always liked to garden. He was always outside. And if I had to picture him at his healthiest, that's what he would just be tan and like, it was weird and very like soothing.
It is,
okay, so he's around.
Okay, so he's.
But I sobbed on the way home. I was like, he's back there. This is okay.
Oh my god!
This is so nice. Yeah, and she never mentioned him again.
Huh.
So weird. And you hear stories like that, and it's like, okay, there's
Yeah.
got to be something. This is
Yeah.
where
It
we
does
come in with the ADD. Like, we're talking, where are we talking? We're talking about podcasts and dead people.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's like what it is. I don't know. I talked about it before, but like so when my mom passed, like I don't know. I guess same kind of things. You go through those feelings, like. But I remember having like a super like vivid dream of like that I was like this, felt like super real and like. And this is pretty soon after everything, but I just had this like vision of her like hair all done up and in a nice dress and all these things, it's like, and I was like, it was just really I woke up and I'm like, what was that? Like that was,
felt real. Yeah.
Like and I remember just like I took a lot of comfort in that. Like I felt like I just I'd rather remember her that way,
right?
Like, than what
for sure.
How, towards the end when she was sick and stuff. So so I finally I kind of took that. I mean, I don't know if that's
like your sign.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if
fine.
that that people how much people believe all that, but it's like that was for me that was kind of that
comforting.
Yeah, like hey, I'm okay. Everything's fine.
I'm okay.
Yeah. It's kind of whatever, but. It was the only time it's ever happened. It was only that one, but it was creepy, like how real if everything felt and stuff. But like, and then you just like wake up and like, what in the world was that about? Like,
it's almost like you come back to, because I lost my dad when I was like 18, and it's almost like when you wake up, like you're in this dream where you see them, and it's almost like when you wake up, you have to like be sad all over again because you're like it feels so real.
Oh, God.
In that dream.
Yes.
And then like it's,
you
wake up and you're like, oh my God, I would wake up sweating.
Yeah.
I have like reoccurring dreams. I don't know if you get this, but like I had these weird reoccurring dreams about my dad where it's like, because when somebody dies, like everyone comes to your house and then you get all this food train. Like everybody's bringing you like their best dish, And so I remember all these people being in our house, but then I would have these dreams about us being inside of our house with all these people, and my dad would come in the front door and he would be like, I didn't really die. I just...
Okay, Princess Diana.
I pretended. Yeah. Classic dad. He was like, I just wanted to know how much my family loved me.
Oh, Jesus.
That is like the biggest mind fuck. You know what I mean? And then you wake up and you're like,
yeah.
Like what happened?
This is reoccurring. You have this often.
Yeah. And I tried a dream dictionary too, and it's like, you have a mental illness. And I'm like, tell me something I don't know. You have childhood trauma.
You're going to revisit this all the time.
Yeah.
My grandfather, his sister died when she was like 16 or 17 in his arms, which, of, I don't remember, lymphoma, I think. And he had reoccurring dreams about her dying through his whole life, and he would wake up screaming. It was just bad, like trauma. Talk about trauma.
Yeah.
And I think that's just part of it.
It's like that survivor trauma too. Like my dad died so unexpectedly. He wasn't sick. Do you want
to tell Shane how your dad died? Do you want to get into that?
So my dad died from an aneurysm. He was a engineer for 3M Corporation, and like the day before, he had like a headache, And so he had expressed that, but that was like, he was like never sick. He never went to the doctor. He never did anything. So when he passed away so suddenly, it's like, one of my girlfriends, her mom died from cancer. Okay. And it's just, I tell her because she got to have her mom for a lot longer. She was like 30 when her mom died. I was like in high school when my dad died. And so I always tell her, I'm like, it is a different, you experience a loss, but it's a different loss. I don't know that I could watch someone wither away. You know, it's and they'll never understand somebody being taken away from you in a tragedy or suddenly or anything like that. But I don't think that I could have watched him be sick. I think that would have been
Worse for you.
worse for me.
Worse for everybody.
Because, you know, when they pass away suddenly, you're just, yes, you still feel robbed, but you at least know that leading up to it, that they didn't like, they weren't miserable and they didn't, what do they call? They didn't like suffer. Yes. And I don't know that I could watch that happen. So I always think like, did your mom pass away? Did she have cancer or?
Yeah.
Okay.
She had brain cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And she was, hers, so it was, I guess things started around like late May. By middle of June, she went and we did a surgery to remove a tumor, and then started chemo and radiation, but yeah, she passed December 3rd. So
Wow.
So recently.
This was 2019. But,
okay.
But I'm saying that was like within 6 months of 5 months, I guess. Like
This was quick.
everything. Yeah. So it was like it was a really weird process, like, especially because I think for that particular with brain cancer, like,
It just spreads fast.
well, and she was nonverbal most of it. So like,
So it's like, and that's not the person, that's clearly not the mom that you knew.
Right.
So it's like by the time like they get towards the end, like you're just like, I
Please
just
go.
don't want them
Just please
to be in
go.
any more pain. It's like, I could
Yeah.
not watch someone be in that much pain.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know?
it was tough.
Yeah.
Very, I mean, like, obviously any of it is, but like, it was rough trying to get through that. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Well, you heard about like recently that, oh God, it's so sad. This is taking a dark turn, you guys. I saw in the news like an 86-year-old woman was arrested for shooting her husband in the hospital because he was terminal.
Oh yeah.
And like she tried to like kill him and then kill herself, and she failed at killing herself. And I'm just like, you shouldn't.
And that was
have to
that was his
go to that
wish. He
point.
didn't
Yes, he
want
was like,
to
"Please,
suffer.
I don't want to be in this hospital. Just like let me go." And honestly, who wouldn't?
I say that to my husband too. I'm like,
Just
listen,
take me
if
out
I'm-
back and shoot me,
If I'm
please.
shitting myself, and it's not because like I have a virus. Like if I legitimately like,
Amanda gets a stomach bug and Josh is like, I'm taking you out
like,
back and I'm
he's
shooting
like,
you.
you're done. And I'm like, oh my
You
god.
said, Amanda, if you ever start shitting yourself, just to let you.
But seriously, he's like, listen, you're not gonna change my diapers. Like
Right.
none of this is happening. Just I would want you to end it. And that's how a lot of people are. It's
Yes.
like an agreement that they have.
Yeah.
And
It's just sad.
yeah.
That you like I don't know.
I was telling you about that podcast earlier.
With the wiener?
Yeah,
Okay. The wiener guy?
that same guy talked about. I don't know how it got to that, but Ryan mentioned like about shitting and stuff, and like he always likes to make it real personal, and like he's like, how's that, what? And then he talked about his dad like having to wipe his ass and how he appreciate, like it was even though it was a gross topic, it was also like really like kind of a heartfelt thing. Like he started getting emotional. He's like, I don't know that I could do that, but my dad, that he was not always there, but he was there for me when I needed, and that he stepped up to help do this, even like so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like that'd be a tough thing trying to like having to care for somebody that way. But
Yeah. Got to do what you got to do.
yeah, but yeah, I'm with
I'm not
you.
changing
Yeah,
a diaper for an adult.
Sorry,
Like,
Josh.
you guys are so nice. I'm not changing my husband's
I
diapers.
gotta go.
All right.
We have to have some discretion in our
Did you put that in your
marriage.
vows? Don't touch you as part until you start shitting yourself, and then I'm gone.
I'm gonna take you back.
I think we went full circle. I think we started with shitting and we came right back.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna do a little wraparound.
The old wraparound.
The old wraparound. There's this TikTok that's going around, and it was like, I'm gonna do a wraparound. And this guy's like drinking, and he's like, a wraparound. And you have to watch it, but
You gotta be
anyway,
there.
I'll
Good
send you
story,
the link. I'll
Amanda.
send you the link.
It's a good way to end
pretty-
this.
Everybody else knows what I'm talking about, except for you. So
I don't want China to know all my
she's like,
secrets.
I don't know what you're talking about. And I have TikTok.
In a life. Yes, life.
All right, we did full circle.
Yep. But you can keep the conversation going right now. After listening to this, click over to If You Give a Mom a Podcast, and you can follow along there.
Yay.
Thanks so much for having us. This was so fun.
Yeah, this has been
Nice to
a
talk
fun.
to someone other than Amanda. Get so tired of your shit, Amanda.
Yeah, right. That's it. This podcast is over.
It's over.
Yeah.
We're breaking up.
Yeah, this is
6 episodes.
I do applaud you that that is a feat, because I feel like people like go on sometimes about like my show and I tell them all the time, like, I didn't do anything great. I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason
You stick to it.
I got successful at it was longevity, that I've done it for
Yeah.
this long, and that people just associate podcasting with me and the show now. But it's like so many people are like, hey, I want to do that. I got an idea for a podcast, and then like they do like one episode, and then like they realize,
Yeah,
oh,
they're
it's
just-
actually a lot of work, and
It
like
is.
and it's like I'm done. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
it was going to be easy. I thought I
Easy.
was going to go viral on the first one, and like
Which is-
it's like
Which is the goal.
what you can't be
But it's not.
Joe Rogan overnight.
It's not
like,
realistic.
so-
It takes so much. It's going to take so much time to even get, I feel like, 100 followers at this point.
Maybe after this one.
Yeah.
Maybe after we do Shane's podcast.
Yeah. Shane, give us all your followers.
yeah, we're definitely going to get
2.
yeah.
Maybe 2.
Thank
That'd
you
be
guys.
great.
Thank both of you.
But yeah, I mean, it's a feat in itself that to even get 6 episodes in. So
Yeah.
we're just getting warmed up. So hopefully, I'm excited to see where this thing goes for you all, and
Thanks.
continue
We are too.
continue the laughs and having fun. That's what it's all about. So
That's what it's all about.
all right,
We just lost 2 followers.
and unsubscribe. All right. Well, thank you both, and I say we do this again soon. That's
Yeah. We'll have you on our podcast,
all
Shane.
right. I'll bring all the good shit stories.
Perfect. That's all we talk about.
Yeah. You're in luck. That's all we talk about.
You're in luck. All right. Get some peace stories in there too.
PM.
I don't think anything surpasses that guy's sister blowing on him and then peeing in her face.
Yeah, it's hard to top that.
Nothing beats that. So, all right. Well, thank you so
All
much
right.
for having us.
Yep. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Get out of my house, Shane.